after I graduated college and they paid all the money for it. And I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to move to India and go live in an ashram. So we do when we grow up in New Jersey. We go to live in the Himalayas. Who else? Let's get a couple from this side. What's bothering you? Couple examples. Maybe one you just heard.
I was saying it's not necessarily, it is anxiety, it's not necessarily negative, like about your family, like you're worried about them, like
Yeah.
they do well, that good things happen to them, that they're safe.
Of course. You're just worried about people that you care about and love. Good. I'm much more selfish. I'm like, worry about over here. Good luck finding food, young one. Oh, terrible. What kind of meditation teacher? I'm from Jersey. We have an attitude. I mean, one more. Let's do one or two more. Yes?
Our country.
Oh, politics. Not allowed to talk about that in these bubbles. But I have a degree in politics and I worked in Washington for a minute, so I get it. I get it. Yeah, why do you think I went to be a meditation teacher instead? That's not going to work for me. Way too much anxiety. All right, one more from this side. Anybody else? Yes?
Health issues.
Health issues. Yeah, anxiety about health issues. Absolutely. So when we have anxiety about health issues, kind of the worst thing we could do for a health issue is be stressed about it, right? Because then it tends to physically exacerbate the issue. So I think meditation is key for that. Yes?
Anxiety over having anxiety.
Yeah, meta-anxiety. You must be from the philosophy department. Let's call that meta-anxiety. Anxiety about feeling anxious. So we feel anxious, and now we're anxious because we feel anxious, so it doesn't feel good. So there's four kind of basic steps to working with our anxiety. First, we find it, then we feel it, then we face it, and then we heal it. So can we all say that? Find it, feel it, face it, heal it. You won't forget that. Find it, feel it, face it, heal it. So first we find it. So when we close our eyes, where does anxiety tend to rest? Point to where your anxiety rests. Chest, shoulders, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Tends to be on the chest, a bit in the stomach, and then maybe like a byproduct on the shoulders. But I think the core tends to be in this region, right? And you know what else tends to be in this region? Our heart. And I mean our energetic heart. Physical heart is over here, I know that. But the energetic heart is in the center of the chest. So if I was to ask everyone in this room, just point to yourself, right? Unless you're a samurai in Japan, you might, right here, over. But for most of us, it's here. So when we get bad news, if someone breaks up with us, if there's grief, we feel heartache. We feel that here. Now, what happens is if we push that down in one form or another, then we get this surface level thing that we call, this general term called anxiety. And like I said before, it's usually not the sock on the floor. It tends to be something deeper, which is what we're going to work on next. So for a lot of you, when you go into meditation, first we find it. So let's say for all of us, we find it. Where is it? Let's just get a sense of where the sensation is. I like to also visualize it. Does it look like particles spinning around each other? Does it look like water? Does it look like some jelly? You know, is it like this glob of gray? So we find it. Where is it? It tends to be in this region. But not only. And then we want to start to feel it. So, this morning I was having breakfast at the place by the clock tower where all the students go, and there's like a little cafe. I'm sure you all know it. And I was sitting and I overheard these two students who were graduating this week talking. And one said to the other, I feel so sad, but I should be happy. So I'm just going to be happy. But I could see the sadness on her face. And she's saying, I'll just be happy. But she's not happy. But she's supposed to be happy. And even the way she said it was this awkward overriding of the natural feeling. You just had 4 of the best years of your life, and now it's ending. Of course you're sad. Own that. So if we can own our feelings, for example, sadness, and if we can add gratitude to the sadness, so 4 amazing years, then all of a sudden that can blossom into joy. So happiness can be this fleeting, like I feel really good, and now I feel bad. But there's a deep sense of joy that comes with gratitude, even in things like grief and or sadness. And I think anxiety tends to arise when we don't address those things properly. It's almost like a byproduct. For me, anxiety tends to be, not always, but tends to be icing on the cake. And there are some deeper layers underneath it. So maybe 10 years from now or 20 years from now, she never dealt with that sadness. She never created anything as good. And now she's suffering from severe anxiety disorder every day, and she can't figure out why, and there's no single reason. And then some therapist takes her deep into some trauma work or into some regressive meditation, and she goes, oh my God, I haven't enjoyed myself since Cornell. Son of a... I'm not enjoying life. Everything is work and stress all the time, making money. And I haven't enjoyed anything since back at Cornell. And so we have to find those deeper images and memories that cause the seeming kind of surface level anxieties. So I don't want to give you guys a Band-Aid today that you put on every time you're not feeling well. And I don't want you to go, I'm feeling anxious, but I should be happy. Or as spiritual meditation people in India do it, or California where I live. I don't want to be anxious, so I'm just going to be enlightened. Everything is perfect. I count my breaths. Everything's fine. Or the best one, everything is an illusion. Anyway, we're all made of particles. It's a hologram. It doesn't matter. It's an illusion. Like, what a cop-out. Because then they secretly come to me like, can you help me with this thing? Like, I thought it was an illusion. What happened? So we find it. We feel it. We face it. We really have to face it, what it actually is. We have to face where it's actually coming from. And that takes discovery, and it takes time. It might take 1 hour of meditation, and it might take 10 years. And I never promise anything fast and easy, because I cannot guarantee that. Some people, it's really deep, and it's something they have to master over time. And other people, they sit for a few weeks or months, and then it just pops and it goes. I have no idea why. But some of us, it's like a root. Some of us, it's a cavity. Some of us, it's a root canal. And you don't want to pull the tooth out, right? You can't rip that part out of you. You have to heal it. You have to heal it. So we find it, we feel it, we face it, and then fourth, we heal it. And that's, there's 1,000 ways to heal it. And I never pretend meditation is the only and best way. I'm an all of the above approach kind of person. Get your hormones checked, see a therapist, check your genetics. I mean, go at it from every angle. So then you know, right? If you come at it from an angle and it's not fixing it, then you try another. So for me, meditation has always worked very, very well. And it's the most nonviolent, cheapest solution there is, right? So give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. Before we go into this meditation here, does anybody have any questions about any of that? Are we good? Cool? Okay. I'll share one more thing before we go into meditation. So I remember once meditating going, where is some of my anxiety stemming from? Let me really go at this deeply. And so I sat in meditation, I closed my eyes, and a memory arose. And the memory was when I broke up with a girlfriend in college, and we had dated for like 4+ years through high school. She did my application to college, probably most of my homework. She did everything. Let's say she did everything, kind of. And so she became my rock in a certain sense, emotionally and even maybe physically. And I have this memory of like it ending and then me feeling this overwhelming anxiety, right? It's overwhelming anxiety. And I said, let me go deeper. Let me do that kid question where you ask why, and no matter what the answer is, you ask why again and again and again. I have a degree in philosophy, so I like that one. So I just kept asking why. So what is that picture? And I looked underneath it, and it was like, oh, I got so much love from this person, and now the love is not there. I was like, all right, let me keep going. Why else? And I looked a little closer, and it was, oh, you know what? My family were immigrants. They weren't that loving. They're wonderful people, but it wasn't like this very warm, cozy thing. They were always working. And her parents were kind of always there, nurturing, feeding me, loving. I was like, oh, there's this deeper element of love that I'm also going to be missing that I didn't have as much as a kid that I wanted. Whoa! Didn't even need a therapist to find it. And then I asked why again? Why is that such a big deal? And then I came to that conclusion of, oh, there's something really deep inside of me that needs love, and I got it, and now I'm anxious because I don't have it. And I think at the core of most human beings, some of that anxiety comes from not having enough love in one form or another, from our parents, from our partners, just from life. And so we take off some of the layers and we find what's really, really going on. So if it's not enough love and I've lost that love, that's a reality. So what do I have to do to heal that space and then create something else to fulfill it in a healthy way, right? Not just find the next person and be like, fulfill that. You didn't. Next, 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 next. I've worked with some celebrities and people who have very large audiences in the millions and millions of people. And what tends to happen to them is everybody gives them validation, right? And tells them how great they are, and almost like a false sense of love. And you'll see with a lot of celebrities, they'll go from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's like they can't get the depth that they need because they're flooded with the shallow love. And then it's hard to like find that space. That's not the only reason they go crazy, but I think at the core, it's one of them. There's like not this true connection because everybody wants something from them and sees them as this image instead of a real person. And we all are working on that on one level or another, having people see us for who we truly are versus kind of the personality self that's in front of that. And as we meditate, we touch that place in ourselves, and the more we cultivate it, the easier it becomes for other people to see in us. I was giving a talk once, I was like working for a company doing marketing, and it had nothing to do with meditation, and at the end, this woman came up to me and she said, "What do you do?" I said, "I work for this company." She goes, "No, no, no, you do something else." I was like, "I run a meditation school." This was in Hawaii. And she goes, "That's it. I want what you have." I was like, "Ew." Well, you ain't getting it here. Personal space. What's your price? No. And I said, well, why don't you come to the school, learn to meditate, cultivate it in yourself, and then you can share that. And she's like, no, just I want what you have. I was like, get the hell out of here. Next. So it's an inward journey. Nobody can do it for you. You have to be willing to do it yourself. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and let's close our eyes again. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Anyone mad at me yet? Or your mothers? Or I figured it out. Nice big deep breath in. Slow that nervous system down. Nice breath out. We find it, we feel it, we face it, and we heal it. Let's find it. So what I'd like you to do is bring your awareness behind your eyes again. But this time, as you step into the center of your head, I want you to look around and notice that you're in a room. You're in a room. And all of a sudden you peer over and there's actually like an in-ground pool, a body of water. Maybe it's like a lake in your mind, in the center of your head. And it's got some ripples. The water is not that calm quite yet. And let's call this, for a better name, because we can't find a better name, Anxiety Lake. This is where you go on vacation every summer with your family. Anxiety, let's go, I'm packed up, let's go to Anxiety Lake. Love you. Stay away from me. There you go. And so you notice there's some ripples in this lake, and it has to do with some anxiety. And on the wall there's a big, one of those nets that you clean pools with, and you just pull it off the wall, and you slowly dip it into anxiety lake. And you hit something and you pull it up. It might be heavy. And you pull it up. And you pull it out of the net, and whatever form it takes, on some level or another, it's a memory, an image. You take it and you just put it over on this desk. You just kind of place it down. You don't have to know what it is yet. You may or may not. Just postulate you're taking it. You get a sense of the energy. You place it down. Might look like a tile, a Polaroid, a brick. And I want you to look, just peer down and look at the image. What's been at the bottom of anxiety lake? It may or may not be a logical image. Just see whatever you see. Just inspect it. Almost with a sense of curiosity. And if it's blurry, like on a computer, maybe you need to zoom out. Wash it off with a washcloth. And just get a sense of the energy of it. So it's something that triggers anxiety in you. It may be recent, it may be from a really long time ago, and it might just be a projected image that never happened. So we find it, we feel it. You might notice that quality that it creates inside of you, if it creates some anxiety or stress. If anxiety was like a musical note that you could see on the screen, it might not be the nicest waveform. It might be kind of jaggedy. So you're almost just getting acquainted. You're getting acquainted here. And then what I want you to do is really start to notice what's going on. So maybe you ask that why question. Why is this image, this memory, creating anxiety? So we find it, we feel it, we face it. Just ask it that very kindergarten why. And you might even need to ask a second or a third why. Without any judgment. Just inspect it. Yeah. Might be learning a lot here. Might be learning a lot. It might surprise you. Now, this is the point often in meditation where we get stuck and we have to pull out our secret weapon, which I like to call little baby kitties. We might give it a little like meow, meow. Like maybe you even lick the side of the picture, just like a kitty. Meow. I've been taking you seriously my entire life. You've owned me. You've programmed me to behave a certain way. You've created limitations, stopped me from developing, from being happy. And we feed it by taking it seriously and thinking that it's greater than us. But that image and memory lives in you. You're the boss, and you've let it be there. And now it's time to be friends. Now it's time to heal it. So like that young woman today, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be anxious, afraid, stressed. Can that be okay? I think I heard some no's. No, it's not okay. And you'll notice the really cool part about this kind of desk that you put this picture on, it's a healing space. So there's, if you imagine there's 4 parts to the desk going down into the ground, each leg is almost a channel to release energy. And so the anxiety or the sadness or whatever the energy on this image for you is, it starts to melt off the image into the desk and down the legs into the ground. This goes down into the ground. And simultaneously, it's coming out of your body. So this energy you've been holding on to, fighting, that's been creating anxiety, it's starting to peel off. Can you allow it to peel off? Have you been holding it in place with too much judgment? Notice you can start to get neutral to this image. It's just a memory. It is what it is. It happened. It's reality. And it's just had a charge, almost like particles have a charge to them. So we're keeping the memory, we're just kind of decharging it. We're letting the energy come off. So you might notice anxiety just starts to melt off of you. Because how much of your energy has been managing this picture in your unconscious for how many years? You're not just in your office or in the future. A part of your psyche has been in your unconscious managing this energy, so for some of us, so the volcano doesn't erupt. And as you all know, the volcano is erupting. And if you've ever done photography, like the old school way with film, you take it out of the liquid or whatever it's in, you shake it off. You can take this image, put it in a portrait, give it some borders, put it on the wall as a neutral memory, as something that shaped your life. Maybe it didn't feel good, but is useful. So we find it, we feel it, we face it, we heal it. And then the last part, there's a fifth part, we learn from it. And this is going to be the trippiest part of all. Inside the center of your chest, so you're in the center of your head and inside of the center of your chest there, you look down and out of nowhere there's like this beautiful pearl. You know, pearls take millions of years to form, right? Or so do diamonds, under pressure. So you've been through all of this stuff in your life in relationship to this image we've been looking at, and it has created a pearl of wisdom. And the reason you've had anxiety is because you thought things were supposed to work out differently than they were, but they weren't. You were just supposed to have the experience and learn from it. Life isn't meant to be perfect, it's meant to teach you. So I want you to take this pearl out, put it in the palm of your hand, look at it, and ask life what you learned. What was the purpose of that experience? What are you here to learn? What did you get out of that? So it wasn't about this binary, I want to feel happy instead of sad. I want to be a success instead of a failure. I want to feel good instead of bad. That's not what it was about. It was about learning something, healing, growing, and becoming more yourself. That's what it's about. And if you can own that, your anxiety will start to dissipate because you'll have purpose, meaning, and direction in your life. Because time creates anxiety, but if you know where you're going and you're okay with it and you own it, then it doesn't. Take a nice big deep breath in, nice sigh out. Whoa. I thought we were going to count our breaths. There we go. Put that pearl back in your heart. Keep it. It's yours. Don't sell it on eBay or give it to the next schmo that wants to marry you. Please, I want what you have. Work for it. I went through some shit. It's just not working. I'm working on myself. He's not working on himself. It's just not working. He's not growing. She's not growing. And with that, go ahead and stretch. Open your eyes. Ooh. And you've already meditated for over 30 minutes today. Not that hard, is it? When you're working on something that you care about. And it's actually quite easy. Now it's pretty deep. I did not start you guys in the shallow end of the pool because I come here once a semester, twice a semester, and we have an hour. So I just put on our swimmies and then we jumped in. And this is something that you could do on your own time over and over again, not just with anxiety, but with stress, with heartbreak, with pain, with all sorts of different emotions and energies that you're working on. So this is just one There's a lot of techniques, but this is just one. You find the image. It's like vibrating. It has this charge of pain of some sort. And you find it, and you see if you can let go of the judgment around it, get neutral, have a little amusement, start to shake it off, and then see what happens and see what wisdom comes out of it. So we find it, we feel it, we face it, we heal it, and then the bonus is, hopefully, we learn something. So your life is the ultimate Ivy League school for you. Use it. We have just a minute or two left, maybe. I think we're just about out of time. We could take a question if anyone has a question, or if you just want to share what that experience was like for you. Like, hey, you started talking and I fell asleep. What happened? Do it again. Anybody want to share? Anybody? All right, that's good. That means you guys all went deep and you don't want to share. We could easily do another hour or two today. We don't have time, but I will be here next week teaching another topic called resetting your energy, where we'll be going into how to unmatch and let go of all the energies in the world, other people's emotion, separate, have our own energy, and start to shift. And I really like, it's a fun topic. This was a deep, deep topic. I applaud you all. So let's give yourselves a round of applause for doing that work. You're all kicking butt. If you do have questions, I'll stay after for a few minutes. Come chat. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm sure you have busy days. I hope you're a little bit more rested and calm now. If you like, I do have a website. It's groundedmind.com. I have a year-long program. It's like $10 a month. I made it super cheap. 1 meditation a week. Everyone can do that. And there's some free meditations on the Cornell site as well. So thank you guys for being here. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you.